One tip I always have is, yeah, you introduce yourselves, but it's always about the other person. Help them out. Like one tip I've always followed for myself personally is help out the other person first, which is why I do all these free onboarding calls to new investors. Is I'm just trying to add value to them in 15, 20 minutes. It's a test. Whoever reciprocates or stays around, that's who typically stays in my network or my circle. And so I would push that out there. Is like when you get into a set with somebody or a few people, learn what the other people are doing and see how you can add value. Means add encouragement. If you don't know anything, give them a referral, an article, something you've heard, or maybe there's somebody else in the group that you met 5 minutes ago, the day before, that you can connect them with, a way to add value. So you're not just standing there smiling.
You're not a model or a statue. And that's part of connection, because if I'm going to connect with you, that it can't just be this stoic, stable face staring back at me. I have to give something to receive something. And we do. It's the old analogy of the farmer. You've got to go out and plant something before you can go out into the field and look for anything to harvest. And so showing up, smiling, engaging, asking about the other person, get to know something about the other person. I have a friend a few years back, and she used to say, if I ask somebody 3 questions about themselves or what they do or the type of work they're involved with, and they never ask anything of me about me, I write them off. Now, that's pretty harsh. I'm not personally going to take that stand, but it does make sense because it's really a one-way street. And sometimes we do that because we're nervous. We know all the answers to our own story. I don't necessarily know your story, but get good at having at least 3 good questions in your back pocket that you've thought about ahead of time. So when you go into these types of settings, that you can start the dialogue and not feel uncomfortable. I often think of conversation, Lane, is like playing tennis. If I hit a ball to you and you let it drop, I'm thinking, you missed it, so I'll serve you another ball. If you let it drop again, I might serve you another ball, but then I'm going to start saying, you're not a lot of fun to play tennis with.
And so it's frustrating, right? All right, you're listening to Lane and Deborah talk about these tips or asking questions, but it's hard to do anything unless the other person is playing tennis with you and being vulnerable, right? Show your insecurities. Tell people what you're working on, what you don't know. Maybe you haven't heard about real estate professional status. Well, ask the freaking question, because that's how you hit the ball back over the net. And this is how it works. But it can be frustrating, right, Deborah? If you're not in a place where people know how to swing the racket and get the ball over the net, right? And this is why I say it's a waste of time to go to most local real estate club events or free online forums, because you're in a room with people who are all about themselves, their selfish mindset, and it's all about what's in it for them. I've curated my group, and people who come to my events, it's a different type of crowd, mostly because I've gotten to help the people out of here, the people that don't fit, that aren't this abundance mindset or not just in it for them, they're gone. So set the culture in a way and curated the list to be decent tennis players here to spar with. But that's hard, right? It's hard to practice with people who don't know how to swing.
It is. And then there's the other side of playing tennis. So then I say to you, Lane, let's go to the court again tomorrow. Let's try again. And you're ready. So you're there with your racket. And I stand on the other side of the net and just bounce the ball on my own racket. And you're saying, Deborah, I thought we were going to play tennis. And we are. And you're saying, if you were just going to bounce the ball on your own racket, you could have done that at home. And I didn't need to even get dressed to show up. And that's what I call a monologue and not a dialogue. When you ask somebody, how are you today? And they never stop talking, it's all about them, as you just mentioned. And oh goodness, I've been to so many networking events where I've had people come up and shove their business cards on me and their books on me and their things and talk about what they're doing. And I walked away going, that'd be the last person in that field I'd ever hire.
And those people typically never get anywhere. So there really isn't much motivation to follow up